And for just a moment, observe your thoughts. How busy are they? Is your mind all over the place? Are you ruminating about something that happened earlier? Are you worried about something that that's going to happen tomorrow? Just kind of get an idea of where what the quality of your thoughts is. And you might want to write this down, but I also want you to put in the chat. Give it a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is totally calm, totally cool. Like my mind is calm. 10 is my mind is like an out of control beast and it's just everywhere. So 7. Okay. Oh, Marissa, you're totally chill. Cool. Cool. How busy are your thoughts? How much? Cool. Cool. Does it go to 11? Right? I just want to let her follow up. Oh, nice. Sonia's at an 8. Amanda's at a 3. Monica's a 6. Cool. Cool. Now write these down when you have a moment. Now drop your awareness down into your heart center and observe your emotional backdrop. At any given moment, most of us are running about 3 different levels of emotion. The one that's right on the surface, when we tell our barista about, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm whatever, I'm freaked out, my boss just pissed me off. Then there's that deeper one that's been with you most of the day and informs your decisions, right? And then there's that third level. It feels like kind of your baseline emotional state. It's been around most of your life, and it makes decisions almost independently. It makes decisions by itself. So 1, once again, scale of 1 to 10. 1, my emotions are smooth, they're calm, they're easy, they follow my command. If it's time to chill out, I can get my emotions to chill out. 10 is I'm just like a wired hot mess of emotion. I'm pinging all over the place, and I'm always kind of goes, okay, so we're at the end of the day, everybody's kind of chilled out a little bit. Cool. I expect to see some higher numbers, maybe the higher numbers you have from the Southern Californians, right? From the Californians who are still looking at the tail end of their workday. Right? Cool. Okay. Remember these numbers. I get it. I get it, Amy. And we got you. So we're going to talk tonight about right now 10. Got it. Got it. Big knot in my stomach. Cool. All right. Lisa, I got you. Don't you worry about it. So tonight we're going to talk about like what these mean and what to do about them when we get there, when our thoughts are out of control, when our emotions are out of control, because what happens is we stop. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So this is, I'm a user of information, not a creator of information. Just about everything I'm going to talk about tonight came from these guys, from these books right here. These are where most of the information that I got so if you want to go into deeper study on anything that I'm talking about tonight, I would begin with these books. These are life changers. Like these are absolute course changers. So we're going to start with kind of just a crash course in your nervous system, sort of a crash course in physiology and how the whole thing works out. So this is your central nervous system, begins at your brain, goes down your spine, and all the nerves are connected. The heart, the organs, your body, all these things are connected. You are all very welcome to take notes. I am going to send all of you a copy of this in the email so that you can have it and certain slides. So you don't worry about taking a bunch of notes or whatever. I promise you will get every bit of what we're talking about in the email. So in a normal, healthy nervous system, we're this guy, right? We're going about our lives. We're in the pond. We're in the stream. We're taking a drink, right? And this dude shows up, right? The wolf shows up, and what happens is we snap. We see this guy. We snap into fight or flight, right? So we are out of there. Okay. Everything in our body, our entire nervous system shifts. It moves into our sympathetic nervous system. Okay. Our circulatory system dilates, our eyes dilate, we start breathing. I mean, we start rapid breathing, our heart rate goes up, everything goes up, and we are out of there. In a normal situation, like 5 minutes from then, like we're back to drinking, right? Like we're now out of danger. This is what happens in the animal kingdom. This is what happens, when a deer gets spooked. It bolts 350 yards down, it's out of danger, and it goes back to what it was doing. It's not sitting there still worried about the wolf. What we do is we have this beautiful subconscious, and what the subconscious does is a lot of fun, right? Because it only thinks in the present, right? It doesn't know the difference between what we see and what we're imagining, right? So what we do is we imagine a danger, we imagine a situation that ramps us up, and we are there. It doesn't need to make sense. The subconscious does not need it to make any sense. The subconscious just goes with it. It does not differentiate between the true and the false. It does not differentiate between positive and negative, right? If we say there's no bear here, we're imagining a bear, right? And whether we're imagining there's not a bear or there is a bear, we're imagining a bear, right? And so the subconscious goes, there's a bear, okay? And so human beings, we create, and it believes everything. It just believes everything. Anything you feed into the subconscious, it believes. So let's take a moment and realize that thing that you are most terrified of, that outcome that you are most terrified of, is just as believable to the subconscious mind as that outcome that you want the absolute most. And if you go into the story of the outcome that you want the absolute most, the subconscious is going to grab hold of that and do whatever it can to respond to that outcome, just like it's going to do whatever it can to respond to the bear that you just imagined in your living room. It is going to show up. So what that means is that we see wolves everywhere. We imagine danger everywhere. And when I say wolves, I mean we imagine that client load that we just can't get our arms around. We imagine the phone ringing off the hook. We imagine the orders coming in. I was a chef for a very long time, and if you've ever been in the service industry, you'll have dreams where it's just like the ticket machine is just going and going and going and spitting out orders, and you can't stop it, and you can't whatever. And so if you are having like those sorts of things, that's your subconscious. You are seeing wolves everywhere. The two parts of the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, Your sympathetic is fight or flight. This is your stress response. And what it does is, and I'm missing a slide here. I forgot to put one in. But your pupils dilate, your heart rate speeds up, your digestion contracts. Because you're not trying to digest food when you're doing it. When you're in fight or flight, you're not trying to digest food, which is why when we're in stress, which is why when we're in that panic state, we have tummy problems, right? We get those cramps. We have digestive problems. It affects the reproductive process, right? Which means we're either not in the mood, can't do it, who can think about reproducing when we're trying to get away from the stressful situation, or we're trying to get something fixed. The parasympathetic nervous system, this is rest and digest. This is sleep and mate and all the other stuff. This is our relaxation response. The long-term effects of staying stuck in our sympathetic nervous system, increased tension, headaches, and migraines, increased type 2 diabetes, increased risk of mental health problems. Long-term effects of staying in our parasympathetic, it's decreased muscle tension, weight loss, enhanced clarity, all kinds of good stuff. So all of these can be made worse or caused by spending too much time in your in your sympathetic nervous system. Obesity, blood sugar imbalance, this is diabetes, heart disease, gut issues, immune issues, because your immune system is taking a hit when we are doing this. Inflammation, insomnia, you can't sleep, and impaired memory. All of these things, when we stay in our stress response, when we don't get relief from our stress response, these are the health problems that show up. And here's the behavioral stuff. Here's where it gets interesting, because a lot of people don't recognize that they are in their sympathetic nervous system, because a lot of people are familiar with fight or flight, right? And they go, oh, I'm not in fight or flight. That's not what I do, right? So fight looks like an angry outburst. It looks like being a bully, being controlling, being narcissistic, or just like erratic, explosive behavior, right? Flight looks like being a workaholic, just totally dissociating, right? Totally like anxiety, OCD, just really going into the perfectionism, and that's what flight looks like in our society today. This looks like totally going in and totally dissociating. The third one, freeze, is what a lot of us do, right? We go into the procrastination. I'm not sure what to do. I can't make a decision. I feel stuck, and I can't do anything, and I just numb out. I just I disappear. The fourth one, which is very interesting, if you happen to be a product of trauma or abuse when you're young, is to fawn. And what that means is I'm going to start people pleasing, right? I'm going to start people pleasing. So I'm going to start saying yes to everything I can. Who are the no boundaries people, right? Who are the I say yes to absolutely everything because I want people to like me. Then I want people to like think I'm a good person. I'm a good whatever it is I do. Okay. This is fawning. I would bet very strongly that many of you are the product of childhood, either abuse, trauma, something. I don't need you to get into it on this, but I would bet a large sum of money that the people who identify with these behaviors come from a traumatic or abusive background. So And there's actually another interesting one we were talking about last night is some people just faint. They just they turn off, like their brains just turn off. They go into a panicked response and they just faint, like the funny little YouTube goats. They just faint, right? And some people, like, that is their like traumatic, which is like the ultimate dissociation, right? Just like, consciousness like winks out. So who goes into, just a quick show of hands, and you can say one way or the other, you can say like who's a fight, like who goes into fight. Like I'm gonna rear up, like, so if I see a wolf, I'm gonna make myself real big, I'm gonna make myself real loud, I'm gonna make myself look really scary and try and back the wolf down. That's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm a fight, right? I'm an absolute fight. Who's flight? Who goes into overwork, overthinking, panic, anxiety, all of that? Okay. Who's a freeze? Who's a freeze? Right? Like I don't know what to do. I'm gonna end up. Sonia goes into fight or freeze, right? Right. Well, there's when you're not always doing the same thing, but yeah, going to fight or freeze. Who goes into fawn? Who just launches straight into people pleasing, right? And so the analogy that they use is, if I see the wolf, if I go into fight, I'm going to rear up. I'm going to try and make this wolf afraid of me. I'm going to try and back this wolf down, so I'm going to try and scare the wolf away, or I'm going to go into flight. I'm going to try to run, and I'm going to try and run so the wolf can't catch me. I'm going to run away from the wolf. Freeze is I'm going to stand there like a deer in headlights, and I'm not sure what to do, and I'm going to end up getting eaten one way or the other, right? Because I can't figure out what's best. I'm going to hope he just like gets bored and walks away. And fawn is I'm going to try and convince this wolf not to eat me. I'm going to compliment his teeth, his coat. I'm going to see what he likes. Maybe I can make him bacon and eggs. Maybe he likes that better than me. Like I'm gonna see if I can do something and convince this wolf that I'm not its next meal. So when we go into fight or flight, these are the responses we're talking about. Okay, when we go into our sympathetic nervous system, these are the responses we're talking about. And when you are in these responses, please make no mistake, you are in your sympathetic nervous system. You are locked in fight or flight. So we're gonna play a fun one. And what I want you to do, what I want everybody to do is I want, if you can, sit up straight, kind of come to the edge of your seat a little bit. And what I want you to do is, everyone in here, I want you to pick one person. You don't have to say who it is, but I want you to pick one person that you're gonna watch breathe. And we're gonna take 3 deep breaths together. Just however you do it, we're gonna take 3 deep breaths together. And so everybody, I want you to watch one person as we take these breaths. Okay, so you're going to breathe and you're going to watch another person. So deep breath in and out. In, out. In, out. Okay, show of hands. Who watched the person that they were watching breathing get taller? Who got taller when they want, like, when the person you're watching, did they go like this? And they got about an inch taller, right? Locked in fight or flight. Okay. I watched all of you just go like this. Locked in fight or flight. When we are breathing like that, I like doing this in crowds when I do this live. I'm like, okay, everybody turn to your partner, right? And now person A, you take a great big deep breath and let it out. Now person B, you take a great big deep breath and let it out. Okay, whose partner got taller? Everybody thinks they did it right and raises their hand. You're all locked in your sympathetic nervous system. You're stuck in fight or flight. Okay, because when we do that, we breathe into the chest. When we are in our sympathetic nervous system, we breathe into the chest. And so one of the things from this moment forward, I want you to be conscious about is breathing into your abdomen, breathing into your belly. What you can do is take your thumbs and just put them on your ribs. Put them just on the side of your ribs like this, right? Put your thumbs there, fingers there, and take a deep breath. And if you can feel your ribs go in and out, this is my DSLR in my new, my camera and my M1 Mac don't communicate real well. So every 30 minutes, I'm going to flash out like that. So if you put your hands on your ribs and you take a deep breath, your ribs should move laterally, not up. They should move out. This is the way an animal breathes. Your body should be moving in and out. If you have a dog and you watch your dog breathe, their sides move in and out. If you watch a tiger breathe, their sides move in and out. And so that is, if you pay attention to your breath, you can catch yourself and drop yourself back in. So never in the history of calming down has anybody ever calmed down by being told to calm down. So when we find ourselves in these responses, know that you're in your sympathetic nervous system. Know that that's the truth. Okay. When you are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, or you just pass right out, right? If you are in one of these things, you are in your sympathetic nervous system. Here's the problem. When you are in your sympathetic nervous system, you have two little almond-shaped gizmos in the very, very center of your brain, the amygdala, and these things are running the show. Okay, your little limbic system, your little frightened animal, little primate brain is running the show. And when your little primate frightened brain is running the show, you do not have access to higher levels of cognition that you are going to need to solve the problem. What you are in is, how do I do one of these? How do I get out of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? What do I need to do? What is the thing that I need to do? And as long as we stay there, we don't have access to higher levels of cognition. We need to calm down, but recognizing that we're in our sympathetic nervous system doesn't do the trick. What does do the trick is, and when I talk to my coaching groups, we talk about the three different brains that we have, the head, the heart, and the gut. But there are more neural pathways that go from the heart to the brain than the other direction. Meaning the heart sends 60 times more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Why is this important? Particularly if we want to calm down. When you are in your sympathetic nervous system, you are breathing 10 to 18 breaths a minute. You're breathing very rapidly. You're breathing very shallowly. You're not getting the nutrient from the air that you need. You're locked in fight or flight. When we slow the breath down, when we begin to very intentionally slow the breath down, the research done says that it's about 5 to 5.5 breaths per minute is ideal. Like that is like the ideal breaths, 5 to 5.5 breaths per minute. the Breathe book by Nestor is great for this type of information. So between 5 and 6 breaths per minute is where we want to be. That puts us into rest and digest. And we begin to calm our body. We begin to enter our body's healing mode. So we're going to go through a few breathing techniques so that you can immediately, when you get into fight or flight, when you find yourself in these places, the first step is to shift out of it. Like the first step, and what I want to be clear that I say is there's nothing wrong with the sympathetic nervous system. Like that's not like the good nervous system and the bad nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system has a purpose. You need it, and heart rate variability, which is super interesting to me. Heart rate variability is the time between beats. The greater the variability between your heartbeats, and the time between your heartbeats, the calmer that you are, the healthier you are. And so what that is that's the body shifting between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, which it does about 80 times a second, or 80 times a minute. It'll shift back and forth. And a healthy autonomic nervous system will shift back and forth very, very rapidly. An unhealthy autonomic nervous system will stay in one or stay in the other. And it is no healthier to remain locked in your parasympathetic than it is to remain in your sympathetic. They both serve a purpose, but you want to be in the right one depending on the right thing. So the first technique we're going to go with, this is the most simple technique. It is the easiest way to go. And this is box breathing. And it is 4-4-4-4 breathing. You can do this anywhere. You can do this anytime. And I'm actually going to take you guys through a little exercise right now. So if you want to just sit still, sit up, ideally breathing through your nose. We're going to play some chill music. And we're going to begin. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. All right. Who felt a shift? Who feels calmer than before we started? Right? I mean, that was literally 3 breaths. That was literally 3 inhales and 3 exhales. Okay? The next technique is the clarity breath. I actually like this one better. This will snap you into your parasympathetic nervous system. And I like it because it pushes a little stronger this direction. And it's similar. So we're going to do 5 rounds of this. Are you ready? So inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. Last one. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. How's that? Do 5 or 6 of those. Use box breathing when my mind is racing at night. Yeah. That's exactly what it does. This is a meditation, right? A meditation is just you're giving your brain a job. We're focusing on the breath. We're breathing in, we're counting, we're creating a thing. You can do this at work, you can do this well driving. Amy, if you're driving and you're starting to get edgy, try this. Just eyes on the horizon and inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. What will happen, and here's the whole point of this, what will happen is your brain will calm down, your body will calm down enough for you to say, I'm safe, I'm fine, I'm just driving, I know what I'm doing, the road is safe, the car is safe. When we can create safety, and what we're doing is we are teaching our nervous system that it gets to trust us, right? It doesn't need to respond all on its own. I mean, it's going to, it's the autonomic nervous system, but the breath is the only part of it, is the only bodily function that is both automatic and intentional. It's the only one. It is automatic. We're going to breathe one way or the other. We're going to breathe. But it is something that we can affect. The third one is called TUMMO breathing. And this one is it's a pressurized exhale. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale inhale through the nose, and then you're gonna exhale through pursed lips, like you're exhaling through a coffee straw, slow, and you're gonna feel the tension behind you, and then you're gonna hold for 2. So we're gonna do this 3 times. So ready, and begin. And inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold, 2. They actually sell these little gizmos. They're like whistles. They show up on, because I talk about breathwork a ton. They show up on my Facebook, and they're just these little brass tubes, and you exhale through them, and they slow your breath down to that count, to exhale for a count of 10. I thought they were interesting, but I've never owned. But that's what they do. So the rule of thumb, so you can breathe to energize or you can breathe to relax. The basic rule of thumb is the longer the inhale, if the inhale is longer than the exhale, it is an energizing breath. In my breathwork sessions, we do the warrior's breath, which is in, out, in, out, in, out. If the exhale is longer than the inhale, it is a relaxing breath. So anytime that your exhale is longer than your inhale, you're bringing the body down. You're creating calm in the body. So we got the nervous system calmed down. You're at work, or you're driving, or you're with your family, and so now you've taken literally 30 seconds and you've calmed the body. So the question is now what? Right? Because the problem isn't the problem. As much as it galls me to quote Jack Sparrow, right? The problem isn't the problem. The problem is our attitude about the problem, right? If your problem is the workload is too high, if you believe that the anxiety is spiking because the workload is too high, the real problem isn't the workload. The real problem is your boundaries. That's the real problem. If my children run all over me, the real problem isn't the chaos in my house. The real problem is setting boundaries, right? If the problem is I'm a perfectionist, the real problem, right? The problem is I'm not a perfectionist. The real problem is I don't feel safe, right? If I don't feel like if I do this perfectly, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble. I feel like I'm going to get fired. I feel like people are going to think poorly of me. I think people are going to have the wrong impression of what I'm doing, right? They're not going to get me. If you are in a healthy emotional state, whether people get you or not becomes their problem, not yours. When you are in a healthy place, the amount of work that needs to be done gets compared to the number of hours in the day, the number of employees that can do it. And you go, oh, only this much work is going to get done today, right? Maybe we're overpromising. Maybe we need to take a look at why we're overpromising, right? Let's take a look at why I'm overpromising. Are we trying the clarity breath tomorrow? Yes, Artie, I'm so glad. So the point of all of this is now what? Now we've calmed our nervous system down, right? We're no longer gripping the steering wheel. We're no longer kind of coming unglued. What we've just done is we just gave ourselves access to the prefrontal cortex, right? We just gave ourselves access to higher brain function. So now we can solve the problem. We now have access to the part of our brain that's going to enable us to solve the problem, rather than stuff it under the rug, yell at somebody, make somebody else happy, or pretend the problem doesn't exist. We can now actually begin to get some clarity and solve the problem. And here's what it looks like. I encourage people, and if you're a client of mine, if you're in one of my groups, you know how much I encourage people to write. I encourage people to write and write and write and write and write. The reason we do this is that our thoughts are composed of images and emotions, not words. Sometimes we hear words, but they're disjointed. And if you try to like create a complete sentence out of them, it wouldn't be there, right? Our thoughts are composed of images and emotions. When we write, we are literally forcing our brain to language these images and emotions. And most people assume that a busy, cluttered, overthinking mind is normal, because that's just what we grew up doing. Just like I'm just scattered. I'm all over the place. More people have ADHD. We've been told, we were taught the multitasking in the late 70s. We were taught the multitasking was the thing to do. That the multitasking was it, and we just created these incredibly busy brains. It needs to be untangled. We got to sort it out. This is the point. If we don't untangle it, it just stays this crazy mass of images and emotions, and it just stays there and circles on itself. It's got to come out. So when we write, we're literally giving form and perspective to our thoughts. We are forcing our brain to language. And I encourage you to write it out before you talk it out, before you get on the phone with your best friend, before you get on the phone with your therapist, before you get on the phone with your coach. Do some writing. When we just talk it all out, it disappears. Our brain does something similar, but we lose it. And we benefit from the nonverbal communication, right? I can sit across from you and go, I don't know, man. I'm just so stressed out. And you know exactly what I just said. Like you understood exactly what I just said. At least you nodded and went, yeah, you commiserated. You're like, yeah, I understand what those sounds indicate. But I didn't actually language anything. When we write, I double dog dare you to attempt to write like odd disjointed sentences. Like it doesn't work. You will write complete sentences, even if they're long run-on sentences, they don't make any sense, whatever. Just write. One of my favorite exercises to have clients who struggle from overwhelm, who struggle with, I just don't even know what to do first. I have so much stuff that I don't even know what to begin first. Pull out a clean piece of paper and literally write down everything you think you need to do. Write down every, like top to bottom, like do the dishes, handle this client, do the shopping, whatever this thing is, this entire list that's going to come out of your head. Literally write down every single thing that you think you need to do. Then take that piece of paper, crumple it up, and throw it away. Take out a brand new piece of paper and make the same list. Your brain just stopped hanging on to everything except the stuff that's really important. And it will only hang on to the stuff, because the minute we write it down, the minute we say it, our brain lets go of it. The minute we can say, when was the last time you made a decision there was a thing that you got invited to and you really didn't want to go and you're kind of too tired to go, but you said you would, and you watched the minutes click by until it was time to either go or shoot that message and say, I'm not going to be there. And it's agonizing. It's brutal, right? I don't want to go. It's too much energy. It's too many people. I don't have it in me. I don't want to, but we haven't said anything. Why? Because we're in fight or flight. Right? We're in the middle of people pleasing. I don't want to say I'm not going. I don't want you to be disappointed. I'm busy holding on to your feelings, right? and then it finally, like at 10 minutes after we're supposed to be there, we shoot off some lame text that says, I'm not, something came up, I'm not going to be there, sorry. Instead of the day before or 2 hours before or the morning of, decide I'm not going to be there. And once you make a decision, your brain stops pinning it. When we write things down, our brain stops hanging on to it. Until it comes out in some form, your brain will keep track of it. You know, those things that you allow just to, I might do, I don't know, I'm going to be doing this thing. And so that might get done. And what happens if we just kind of let like we let the due date go past, right? We let the point it's supposed to happen go past. But the problem is we don't even stop thinking, because now we're just thinking about whoever was waiting for us to do this thing is now waiting for it. Instead of reaching out to that person and going, I'm not doing it, it's not going to happen, right? And then allowing that allowing that to be. The overwhelm in our brain comes from us not letting it out. The overwhelm in our brain comes from us not languaging it, us not allowing our brain to put it down. It removes it from your mind. So you can talk it out. I encourage people, and if talking it out is the only thing you have in the moment, that's great. Get on the phone, talk it out, talk to yourself, talk to the mirror, whatever. Have that argument with that person in the shower, whatever. It's cool. Like, do it, but language it clearly and language it distinctly all the way out, but write it down. A daily journal practice will keep that clarity of mind going. Alchemy is the seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or combination, right? Alchemy is a seemingly magical practice. When you leave, and this is really important, when you leave smudges of graphite or ink on a piece of paper, you literally just took the ethereal, the formless, the shapeless, the weightless, the massless, and you gave it form, dimension, mass, and perspective. The minute you write it down, you're literally leaving your thoughts as smudges of ink or graphite on a piece of paper. This now has thought. This now has weight. This now has actual mass. You just participated in the actual act of alchemy. You took that which was ethereal and you made it corporal. Writing is powerful. What do I write about? Who cares? Write about anything you want. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I have, for my clients, I have journals, I have prompts, I have all kinds of stuff that I take people through, processes, examples, and different stuff that I walk people through. But writing it down, if you want to master your mindset, you journal every day. Period. It keeps the clutter. It's just like if you imagine if you had the time, space, and bandwidth to sweep your entire house every single day. Imagine like if you could sweep your house every day and just get rid of the dust, the cobwebs, the grit on the floor, how much cleaner your house would feel. The other practice is engaging regularly with flow state. And the last 30 minutes of this presentation, I'm going to take you through a very short flow state inducing breathwork session. It's totally optional. If you're not up for it, that's totally fine. If you've never done breathwork or you're interested in this, stick around. You'll love it. But flow state is an optimal state of consciousness, right? It is peak state. You feel your best, you perform your best, you feel good about what's going on, you feel good about where you are. And it is available to anyone, anywhere. You know who gets flow the most? You know who is a bunch of unemployed guys. Adventure sports athletes get to experience flow more often than anybody, because the things that are required for flow are intense focus, clear goals, immediate feedback. There needs to be some sort of challenge to it. Any of you who have done breath work with me know that it is a challenge. Know that it is not the easy thing you thought it was the first time you showed up. High consequences, right? If you are on a wave and you are not paying attention, there are consequences, right? If you are doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you are not paying attention, there are consequences. If you are rock climbing, if you are skydiving and you are not completely focused, there are consequences. When we do breath work, when you do any of these mindfulness activities, the consequences aren't as high. But one of the things that we do in Breath Alchemy is we intentionally, in one of the rounds, push our body into the sympathetic nervous system. We create the illusion of high consequences, which is why it works as well as it does. We create the sense of high consequences in the mind, in the body, and in the nervous system, which is why it works as well as it does. Deep embodiment. So you're there, you're in it. So all of these things, and adventure sports athletes, just surfers and rock climbers and skydivers, they get to experience flow state. So runners call this runner's high. Extreme sports athletes call this the zone. Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel, the authors of Stealing Fire, call this flow state. Joe Dispenza calls this flow state. And these are the guys who get to experience it the most, right? You call it hyperfocus, right? ADHDers call it hyperfocus. And what it is actually transient hypofrontality. That's what it actually is. Transient hypofrontality, transient meaning it doesn't last real long. You can cultivate it but not capture it. Hypo meaning less than, and frontality referring to the prefrontal cortex. This is the newest, most human part of your brain. This is the part of your brain that is responsible for your understanding of self, time, self-image, all of these things. When you go into a flow state, a true flow state, you go into a state of transient hypofrontality. It's marked by 4 distinct pieces. There is a selflessness to it, like a separation from the self-consciousness, a separation from the ego. There is a timelessness. Time can dilate while you're doing it. If you've ever done something that you absolutely loved and you thought you were at it for like 20 minutes and you were really at it for 3 hours, that's time dilation. And there's an effortlessness. I love doing this. It's not a chore. I enjoy it. I get in the zone and I just go, and there's a richness to it. And when we do breath work, between the music and the prompts that we go into, there is a very definite richness to this process. And so we get to create. So the people who get to create flow state often in their life, the same people have the clarity of the people who write and everything else. So once we can shut down our fight or flight, now what do we do? Now where do I get the clarity to make sure that I'm kind of taking this apart in a meaningful way, taking my stress, taking like my trauma response and going, why am I doing that? How can I do this better? How do I organize my team better so I don't end up back here? The problem is until you do, you're never going to figure it out. Why do we want to do flow state and why do we want to do it consistently? How about a 500% boost in productivity? How about a 430% boost in creativity? 490%. Navy SEALs, they were the do this breath work. They noticed a 490% increase in skill acquisition. Okay, so Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. How about we reduce that by 80%, and you can master a new skill. Enhanced well-being, consistent motivation, and improved decision-making come from participating regularly in a flow state process. I have never found anything that I recommend. Will it improve your business? No, but it will improve you, and then you will improve your business. Will it improve your relationships? No, but it will improve you, and then your relationships will improve. Every single piece of you, every aspect of your life will improve when you are participating once a week in a flow state-based activity. And there are 8 key components. So there's clear goals. When we go into breathwork, we have clear goals. A surfer has a clear goal. A free solo rock climber has a clear goal. Make it to the top. Make it to the top before you make it to the bottom. Right? That's the clear goal in free solo rock climbing. Your strong concentration, a loss of loss of self-consciousness, right? A distorted sense of time, immediate feedback. When we do the breath work, we get immediate feedback from our bodies. We feel that resistance at first, and then we feel release. A balance between skill level and challenge. You can get really good at it, and it will always be challenging. The sense of personal control over the situation, right? When you are doing breath work, you are you're deciding whether you're participating in this breath or not. You're deciding. You have complete control over your situation. And there's when there's total absorption. So when all 8 things are present, when all 8 keys are present, you will enter a flow state. You will go into one. So those are the pieces. And then here's the fun stuff, the neurochemicals, the feel-good chemicals of flow state. There's norepinephrine, dopamine, endorphins, and anandamide, oxytocin, serotonin. When you do it with practice, your body will produce DMT. You will have an authentic psychedelic experience. It's just been demonstrated. And when you can, it is attention focusing. It is energizing. You begin to learn at an accelerated rate. It's super fun, and your creativity explodes. You're stimulating the pineal gland when we do this, which is why we do it. So we're going to move into a short breathwork session. I hope this has been useful. I hope this feels like it's been valuable. I hope you've learned something. I hope you have something you can take away. I promise that I will send several of these slides plus the recording of this into in all of your emails. If you are interested in how to work more with me, if you are interested in how you can get more of this, there's 4 basic ways to do it. You can look twice a week. I offer breathwork sessions for free. I'll give, no ask, show up. It's a Zoom link. I don't need your email. I don't need your I don't need to put you on my mailing list. You show up, you do it. It's amazing. You get to have an incredible experience. I also do paid breathwork sessions if you want a private breathwork session, or you want to start doing a more advanced breathwork. There is an intermediate class. I have a program. It is a self-directed course. It's about 12 weeks worth of material that I teach every single one of my one-on-one clients, the 3 pillars of clarity, confidence, and connection and I distill down what I teach to literally every single one-on-one client I've ever had. Let's get these skill sets down. Let's get these processes down. Your life will shift when you get these processes down. And so I spend the first 3 months teaching my one-on-one clients all of these skills. And I have a program where you can access those things and learn them in your own time. I will put up links to all of these things, and you can get direct one-on-one coaching with me. You get my full attention right on you, right on what you're working on, and it's an extraordinary experience. The women that I work with, the women and the men that I work with, take huge leaps in their lives. They have extraordinary experiences, and they come out of it stronger, more confident, but with better communication, able to set boundaries, and feel like they can really move forward in a life that they want. So these are the 4 ways to work with me. If that is something that you want, I want to thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for allowing me to share. Anytime that you feel that one of those, that you feel your temperature rising, you feel the stress level rising, take 90 seconds, sit down, do some breathing, and then, like, on the back of a napkin, ask yourself, what was it? Ask the question, why am I stressed out? Like, what is going on with me emotionally? What is my fear? What is going on with me right now? Right? What does that wolf look like? And what am I trying to do with it? And when you can put it into that context, you can very quickly begin getting clarity on what's driving your stressful state. Does that make sense? I put in the chat all the ways that you can get a hold of me. I have a free Facebook group that you can join and get all the announcements. Some of you guys are friends of mine on Facebook already. I put the Zoom links to the free breathwork sessions. I put the Calendly links to the paid breathwork sessions. And if you are interested in what it would look like to work with me, either one-on-one or in one of my groups, make an appointment with me. Let's get on a call, and let's talk about how I can serve you and what that would look like. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And please reach out if there's any way I can be of service to you. It would be my pleasure.